in front of everybody, but since we're recording it,
Our opening words for today are by Susan Carlson. Welcome to all our creaturely siblings today. Live, photographed, filled with air, and so on. We enter into this circle of diversity, celebrating the ways that we upright walking two-legged wanderers share with the four-leggeds, lounging, lunging, and leaping among us, with winged warblers and slithering, sliding, snaky beings, with circling cavorters in a watery world, and with those who carry their houses on their backs. We look so different, moving according to the way we are made. Yet look at us here in this circle. We are part of one family sharing one planet. May our celebration bring us into a deeper relationship with the diverse beings in the interdependent web of all life. Remembering we all have common needs for safety, care, and respect. Welcome to all our siblings gathered here today. And welcome members, friends, and newcomers who are joining us today in person or online. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I am Alice Lees, your worship associate for today's service. And I would also like to make a brief announcement to say that Sharon is filling in for Sue Tenenbaum, who is sick, so we owe her a big debt of thanks for stepping in. Thank her again at the end. We wish to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Shawnee and Monohoic tribes prior to the arrival of European settlers who then took the land for their own. We come together each Sunday morning as a community of seekers, seekers of what is most important in our lives, seekers of understanding in the face of uncertainty and loss, seekers of forgiveness for our shortcomings, seekers of gratitude for the unexpected gifts we receive from all around us. We gather in awe of the beauty of nature and the mysteries of the universe. But most importantly, we come together as seekers of a community of love and empowerment, celebrating our search for truth and meaning in our daily lives. Our speaker today is Marty Matheson, a 16-year member of and instructor for the Blue Ridge Dog Training Club. Marty's companion animals have included over the years 4 horses and numerous cats and dogs. Welcome, Marty. And now, as Alfio comes to light the chalice for us, let us all say together here and from our homes the words for lighting our chalice. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. And I invite you to join with us as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help our neighbor. To these ends we covenant, one with another. Please stand as you are able for our opening song, number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. Now is the time for all ages. And I would like to invite any kids. Are there some kids here? Big, little, young, old?
There's lots of big kids out there.
Come on up, big kids, come on up. I got some pictures to show you while Christine reads some poems.
Yes.
All right.
We are all.
Come on up here.
Yes.
You rat on them and make them get up here. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding you. Okay. Okay. This book is called When I Am Not Myself.
When I Am Not Myself by Kathy Baynett. When I am a zebra, my stripes look okay, but I'd like to try wearing checks for one day. And when I am a rabbit, I am very quiet. I act really shy. You might want to try. When I am a bear, I patiently wait for the day my brother will go and hibernate. When I am a lion, I need to be free. The circus is not the best place for me. When I am a kitten, I wait in a row for someone to love, for some place to go. I picked this one. When I am a trout, I'm on a swim team. We beat all the other fish in the stream. When I am a turtle, and I know you well, I don't have to spend much time in my shell. And when I am a hound, I'm close to the ground. That's where the most treats are usually found. And when I am myself, as I have been since birth, I'm a little bit like most creatures on earth.
So you might have noticed some balloons around here, animal balloons that Tommy Hughes made for us. And I didn't even see the boa. Wow. I saw you, but not the boa. Cool. A python. Well, excuse my ignorance. They both wrap themselves around you, don't they? That's all I'm focused on. If you'd like to take a balloon, and if there aren't enough, Tommy's going to make some more after the service for all of us. If you'd like to take a balloon before you go back to your seat, go ahead. Okay.
The kids have decided to stay in service today.
Pardon?
The kids have decided to stay in
Oh,
service
they're going to stay today. Oh,
We're not
cool.
going to sing them out.
Well, you can fill up some chairs or stay sitting here, however you want to do it. Okay, so let's sing. Oh, the kids are singing in, so we do not have to sing the children out. I guess that would be the point of her telling me that. Okay. All right, so next we have the words for reflection, which Lori is going to read for you.
Hello, everyone. Words for Reflection by Walt Whitman, Song of Myself. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied. Not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me, and I accept them.
Most of you don't know me, but I've been a hanger around among the UUs for a number of years, kind of clinging on the outside edges. I became a friend a couple of years ago, courtesy of Barbara Peterson. I participate in our meditation group here. I come to hear particular speakers. I've taken a class here. I'm a fan of Lisa Rao. I don't know if she's here this morning. I'm one of your fans, Lisa. She deserves them. When I was a kid, the minister of the church that I grew up in would often come for Sunday dinner. And one of the things they talked about, of course, was the sermon of that day. And his thoughtful view was a sermon was 3 points in a poem. Well, I'm not qualified to sermon to anyone, not a pastor. So I have 3 stories and yes, a poem. So story 1 is not even my story. It's the story of a very dear friend of mine. I didn't ask permission to use it, but I don't think she'll mind. It's called Accepting the Unexpected. And it's about Dusty, and Dusty's picture is up here. You'll have to come and take a look at it at some point. Dusty isn't the first shelter dog my husband and I have adopted. He is the most exuberant. We found Dusty when we were looking for a short-haired, older female. He is a year-old, long-haired male. We have always liked small spaniel crosses. Dusty is large. He has a golden retriever head, a hound body, and ears that appear to be crimped. When we asked the vet for her best guess on his breeding, she declared him an all-American mutt. He is also an all-American demolition expert and escape artist. After the house training challenge was passed, I thought it might be safe to leave Dusty and our other dog, Elvis, alone in the house for a few hours. When I returned and opened the door, I found a house and 2 dogs covered in feathers. There lay the corpse of a thoroughly gutted feather pillow. The dogs were very proud of their accomplishment. When Elvis and Dusty manage to get outside together, they take excursions. Their travels have taken them across major highways, through fields and creeks, and into neighboring towns. When they escape, I sit by the phone hoping that an animal lover will call. Someone always finds them, and we pick them up. They seem to appreciate the chauffeur service. I have tried confining Dusty in a horse stall. He jumps out. I've tried confining Dusty on the deck. He jumps over. He bursts through screens and digs through doors. Finally, we build a 6-foot-high chain link fence with dig-proof barrier. The fence is working so far. Dusty has frayed my nerves and taught me patience. He has frustrated and delighted me. He has awed me with his unbridled joy. He has entertained me with his antics, won my heart with his loyalty. I may not have the dog I wanted, but I surely want the dog I have. He has taught me the value of accepting the unexpected. A little coda to that story. Dusty, although very old at 17 years, is still occasionally doing the unexpected. His family loves him all the more. Now for a change of pace and venue and story 2. In my early 40s, I took part in a research project in southern Idaho. The investigator there was studying the behavior of mountain lions in habitats disturbed by human beings, new highways and roads, housing developments in previously undeveloped countryside, and recreation such as camping, bouldering, hiking, climbing, off-roading, and more. Well, a lot of scientific work is just plain work, collecting and consolidating data. And as a volunteer in the project, I got to do a lot of raw data collection. During our days, we created grids around sites at which a mountain lion had made a kill or stashed a carcass. These sites had been located by earlier teams or by the investigators during the winter. Our job, with direction, was to catalog what was in the area around the kill site, identifying and characterizing the terrain, identifying and cataloging the plants, and characterizing the cover. This is hard work, crawling around on the ground while writing down information related to each square meter of the grid pattern. Idaho in August is hot, dry, dusty, itchy, and scratchy. Mountain lions are mostly crepuscular, a great word to toss around at your next cocktail event. It means they are active around the hours of dusk and dawn, and really through the night. The summer I worked, there were only 3 cats that had been radio collared for our night work. Remember, this is the early 90s, before GPS collars and tags. Our gear was an antenna, a paper map, good ears, and a pencil. After dinner, a team of 3 volunteers and a guide drive to a location and begin spending the night and hoping that a collared lion would be within the reach of our antenna. Needless to say, there were nights of silence and no data. Nights in the rough country of southern Idaho are truly dark, and the night sky is brilliant. We huddled around a small campfire, coffee, and our tools. One particular night, our antenna was alive with the pings from a female mountain lion. She was on the move. We have 2 points that we know the coordinates for, our base camp and our nighttime duty station. Once we had a ping, we could plot the lion's location and path on our map. Simple triangulation. Our antenna man is walking around us, venturing into the dark, trying to hold on to the signals from our lion's collar. As her path started to appear on our map, the radio collar pings started to drop out, becoming irregular and hard to follow. It is the radio interference that happens when the path we are tracking is approaching and crossing the baseline of our triangle. But we were relatively ignorant volunteers, so it seemed very unsettling and distracting as we tried to plot her path. Then the signals began to clear, and her path on our map straightened and even began to accelerate as she moved through the landscape. We began to relax, listen, and plot data. Then one of the volunteers started to look at the map as a whole, as a piece of the landscape, and the things included in that landscape. That night, the journey of our lion had passed directly through our base camp, the place where the investigators and our fellow volunteers were scattered around in tents sleeping, or as individuals in sleeping bags on the ground. She became a real living lion at that moment, not a ping on the antenna. She was a strong hunter, a predator, in the dark, walking among our friends as they slept. For me, she was as alive and present as if she had walked into the light of our campfire before our very eyes. Night I will always remember. Okay, changing gears again, story 3. I hope I can get through this one. I have been thinking about loss lately. Back in March of this year, I lost my poodle Sam a few months before her 19th birthday. I met her while volunteering at our local shelter. My plan was to enjoy dogs without having one. Well, Sam ended that plan as she leaned against my shoulder and said, "I'm your dog." In the lost wings, I have my 18-plus-year-old cat, Furby, and my 16-year-old mini schnauzer, Banjo. This is Banjo. A few years ago, one of my book group friends brought an exercise for us to do and discuss. It proved very eye-opening for me. She had us think about approaching the ends of our lives and list the 12 things, activities, people, or specific qualities of life that are the most valuable to us. Here's my list of those most valuable things. They're not in any order other than as they came to mind. My intellectual life, thinking, considering, deciding, and so forth. My dogs. Reading. My book group friends. Music. Drawing and painting. My journals. My brother Bob. Good food, enjoying meal times and eating out. My sister Chris. Seeing and experiencing nature, being outdoors, and walking. Okay, here comes the hard part. The next step in the exercise, as you age, your life tends to slow down, to decelerate. You travel less, your world becomes smaller. So what 3 things from that list will you likely give up first? My first 3 were my sister. She's 16 years older than I am, and she's 89, so I don't have much choice there. The second was walking, at least the walking that means going out in the world. And third was my personal journals amassed over a lifetime. So now I have deteriorated a bit more and have to give up 3 more things. Gets a little tougher. First, my brother Bob. He lives 5 hours from me, and seeing him for either of us is a big trip. Second was experiencing nature, since I will likely be limited to what I can see out my windows or from the car on the way to my doctor. And third was my drawing and painting. Things are now getting physically really tough, but I still have to give up 3 more things. Number 1 is reading. I probably have limited eyesight anyway. Number 2 is food and eating out. Of course, not its entirety. I'm not ready to die yet, but much of the joy in that is lost. And I give up my music. So now to those last few things I have been holding out and hoping would stay with me to the end. First, to give up was my intellectual life, although it may likely have been slipping away slowly over the years anyway. Second is my group of book group friends, the women in my life who have shared their lives, their thoughts, their accomplishments, their tragedies, and their souls with me. And now my very last thing to give up. And if I hadn't done this exercise, I probably would not have thought this. But the last thing I would hold on to would be my dog or dogs. To feel a warm creature nestling beside me because that's where he wants to be is one of my greatest joys in life. And now I promised a poem. This is a poem by Mary Oliver, very short. It's called Little Dog's Rhapsody in the Night. He puts his cheek against mine and makes small, expressive sounds. And when I'm awake, or awake enough, he turns upside down, his forepaws in the air. Tell me you love me, he says. Tell me again. Could there be a sweeter arrangement? Over and over, he gets to ask it. I get to tell. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. That was wonderful. So now we come to the blessing part of the service, which is kind of a group activity, very short. You have I think you do. A little blessing to say. If you'd like to stand, fine, or you can just sit and say this, but in unison. May all our beloved pets, living and deceased, be blessed, and may all those who care for them be held lovingly in the hand of creation. And now Lori will introduce our speaker for Share the Plate.
I'm very pleased to get to introduce Betty Sue Unger to you again. Some of you remember her from last year. She is an amazing woman and has an amazing story, so I will let her speak for herself.
Morning. Many of you remember me from last year's sharing story of Operation Remember. For those of you who don't, Operation Remember is a program that works with nursing home and assisted living facility residents. We provide wants and needs. We bring things to help them smile. We provide Christmas for them. We fill their wish list so that they're all specific to them. And we want to bring things to them to help them smile. COVID took a big hit on that, nursing homes, and limited our ability to get in to help with them, but we still did drop-offs of snacks and crafts and things that the activities department could use to help them smile. We are now year-round. We have Halloween, Valentine's Day, bingo, parties, and everything that we can do because our basic function is to let them know that they matter and that they are not forgotten and give them a reason to smile. The newest program, which I haven't told you guys about, is called the Basics Program. Many residents come into or are in facilities who don't have basic clothing items, don't have basic hygiene items, and don't have a way to get them. Many don't have family or financial ability to do so. So we've set up a program where the facility can contact us with what they need, what their sizes are, and things like that. This matters. Dignity is one of the last things that they have, and we want to help with that. Our latest recipient, I was told, didn't have very many items, and what he had were incredibly too small for him. So I got a list of what he wished for and went shopping. And it's funny because the things they asked for are t-shirts. Many of the men like to wear shorts all the time. The women are always cold, the men are always hot. And so, we bought him shorts, a flannel shirt, a sweatshirt, kind of just basic items. When he received those items from the staff person, he was very excited because I made it into like a gift. So he received a gift. And as they opened it and talked about each different item, he was rubbing them and feeling the softness. What I didn't know is this gentleman was blind. So it was a gift of joy to him to pull out every single item, figure out what it was, rub it, the texture, the softness, and he was just as thrilled by the joy of doing it than to have the new clothes. And for me, that is a basic thing that we can do to help and to provide for them. So when you all do things like sharing the plate, these are the kind of things I do with it. We are 100% volunteer, 100% donation. And what may seem very small to us means everything to them. So I am grateful for your assistance and I'm grateful for your help. I did leave some information out back if you would like to know more, but thank you for helping me with this project.
The purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather to grow more prosperous in spirit and action. If you happen to be watching us online, we hope you will consider making an offering after today's service through our webpage, Shenandoah.org. We will now gratefully receive an offering to sustain this self-supporting church and its ministries within and beyond our walls. Let's all say our closing words together today. Gracious Creator, hear and bless thy beasts and singing birds, and guard with tenderness small things that have no words. Amen. Okay, just have to put up with it. Okay, all God's critters, please stand as you are able and really get into it. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Listen to the bass, he's the one on the bottom where the bullfrog croaks and the hippopotamus moans and groans with a big to-do. The old cow just goes moo. The dogs and the cats, they take out the middle where the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles, the donkey brays and the pony neighs, and the old coyote howls. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Listen to the top where the little bird sings a melody with the high notes ringing. The hoot owl hollers over everything, and the jaybird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day. The little duck quacks and he's on his way. The possum ain't got much to say, and the porcupine talks to himself. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything you got now. It's a song of a living sung everywhere by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, the grumpy alligator and the hawk above, the fly raccoon and the turtle dove. Everybody sing. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything you got now. Thank you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. So now,